They say love is grand, like the sweeping music of a symphony, or the rush of wind through open fields. But sometimes love begins quietly, in the hidden corners of life, in the shadows where the world forgets you. This is where Ruth lived, at the edge of life's map, a foreigner in a land that did not know her name. Her story begins not with joy, but with loss: her husband, her home, her future, all stripped away in an instant. Yet even in that darkness, love quietly waits, not for applause, not for recognition, but for a heart willing to choose loyalty over certainty. Ruth's life in Moab was simple, yet harsh. Her family had sent her into marriage, into a foreign land, hoping for stability, only for death to follow swiftly. When her husband died, she became an outsider twice over, widowed and alone, with no claim to the land she had once called home. Her mother-in-law Naomi, herself broken and grieving, told Ruth to return to her own people, to seek safety and familiarity. "You have nothing left here," Naomi said, eyes heavy with grief. But Ruth's heart did not allow her to leave. Ruth's choice was radical, almost unheard of. To abandon her homeland, to walk into uncertainty, required courage beyond measure. "I will go where you go, I will live where you live, your people will be my people, your God, my God," she said. It was not passion that spoke these words, not the bright spark of romance, but the quiet flame of devotion. She was staking her future on trust, on a bond stronger than fear, stronger than loss. This decision, simple in its phrasing, monumental in its implications, would define her life and ripple through generations. The journey back to Bethlehem was not a walk for the faint of heart. Days of sun and dust, nights of cold and uncertainty. Ruth's hands blistered from walking, her feet weary, yet she moved forward, carrying Naomi's grief as her own. Along the way, they relied on the kindness of strangers, sharing what little food they could find, finding shelter under the sparse trees. And in that shared struggle, a bond deepened, a bond not born of convenience, but of trust, loyalty, and love in its truest form. When they finally arrived, Bethlehem was quiet, humble, yet alive with the rhythm of everyday life. The village's narrow streets held whispers of curiosity about the strangers in their midst. Ruth, the foreign widow, could have hidden, could have begged quietly, but she did not. Instead, she rose early, before the sun kissed the rooftops, and went to the fields to glean, to gather what others had left behind. Every stalk of grain she bent for was an act of resilience, a prayer woven into the soil, a testament to survival and devotion. Gleaning was more than work. It was a rhythm, a meditation, a way to find meaning amid uncertainty. Each day she measured patience, endurance, and grace. She endured harsh sun, sharp scythes, and wary eyes, yet never allowed despair to take root. In her humility, she revealed strength. In her solitude, she found dignity. It was in these fields that Ruth's story intertwined with destiny, for her courage did not go unnoticed. Boaz, a man of means and standing in Bethlehem, noticed the foreign widow, working among his fields, not for what she could give, not for what she could earn, but for the grace with which she moved through life's hardship. He asked his workers to protect her, to leave extra grain, and even spoke kindly to her. It was a subtle gesture, almost ordinary to the eye, yet revolutionary in its kindness, a recognition of her humanity, a seed planted for what was to come. At night, they returned home, to share what Ruth had gathered. Naomi's heart, once heavy with sorrow, began to stir with hope. Ruth's unwavering devotion, her courage, her humility, reshaped the tiny household into a sanctuary of trust. It was a reminder that love is not always loud. Often, it is quiet, persistent, steadfast, a force that can weather famine, fear, and even death. Boaz's recognition of Ruth's loyalty led to protection, then kindness, and eventually, to marriage. Ruth's life, once on the margins, now became central to the unfolding of history. Her lineage would lead to kings. Her faithfulness would be remembered across generations. But the greatest gift was not wealth, not status. It was the enduring proof that love rooted in trust and loyalty can change destiny itself. Ruth's story reminds us that love is not always a feeling. It is an act of radical trust, of choosing loyalty over comfort, faith over fear, kindness over certainty. Her love lived quietly, humbly, and yet reshaped generations. So when you face your own margins, remember Ruth. For even in the shadows, love can rise, endure, and transform. Here, in Ancient Voices, we remember the forgotten stories, the ones that still whisper truth across centuries.